Scarborough's reading rope is the most famous representation of all the skills that are needed for fluent execution and coordination of language comprehension and word recognition. Even the most popular assessments only cover a subset of these skills. What's worse, they have not kept up with reading science, continuing to use the last century's passage question paradigm. Recognizing the need to improve reading assessments, in 2010, IES funded a Reading for Understanding initiative. Among its many outcomes were unique ETS-developed RISE and GISA assessments that were fully validated but have not been brought to market. We are now working with ETS to develop Capti Assess, a next-generation reading assessment platform that will integrate RISE and GISA and enable seamless implementation in schools. Capti Assess will use adaptive multi-stage design and AI to personalize assessment across the breadth of students' reading skills, enabling teachers to focus on the skills that matter most. Before Phase 1, we developed a Capti Assess prototype with RISE, aka ReadBasix, an assessment of 5 foundational skills and basic reading comprehension for grades 3 to 12. Teachers loved it, but craved a more comprehensive assessment that would go beyond basics. An assessment that is fast, reliable, engaging, and helpful for informing instructional decisions. In Phase 1, we licensed GISA, a unique scenario-based assessment of deep reading comprehension for grades 3 to 12. We implemented a single GISA scenario on hydropower. GISA models realistic scenarios of reading and learning and evaluates students through application of knowledge and skills in a project. GISA uses simulated peer interactions to model collaboration. The scenario-based design gives students a purpose for reading, thus motivating them to focus on the overarching goals of the project and process the information in depth. We developed the UI to assign GISA to students and assigned simple class-level reports. We conducted 4 one-on-one Think Aloud observations with students and 5 with teachers, and piloted Capti Assess with 45 fifth graders and interviewed their 5 teachers. In our post-completion survey, students gave GISA a score of 7 out of 10. 73% thought the project felt realistic. 71% didn't think the project was boring. 91% said having a purpose for reading helps them do their best. And 53% said they'd want to do a project like this again. Teachers rated the usability of Phase 1 prototype at 9 of 10 and gave it a Net Promoter Score of 60, which is great. All 5 teachers who took part in the pilot wanted to continue using Capti Assess. The other 5 teachers we observed and interviewed wanted to pilot it in the spring.
Capti Assess allows me to see the strengths and weaknesses of many critical aspects of reading that other assessments overlook. I was especially surprised to see how engaged my students were with GISA. They mentioned that they liked how it focused on one topic and that they learned while actually taking the assessment.
In Phase 2, in collaboration with ETS, we will first add the screener, a rule-based router, integrate all GISA scenarios, and address all Phase 1 accessibility and usability feedback. We will develop insightful reports for teachers, administrators, parents, and students. In Year 2, we will develop instructional tools, including our AI recommendations, student grouping, trend prediction, goal setting, and PD for teachers, and continue iteratively improving the product. We will also conduct 3 small usability feasibility studies to evaluate each component, conduct a longitudinal behavior and perception study in Year 1, and an underpowered efficacy study in Year 2.
If Capti Assess is fully developed, I believe it's going to be the best diagnostic reading assessment available above the primary level. Teachers and districts versed in the science of reading are going to especially love it. Vital reading strands are going to be assessed in an efficient manner. This is ultimately going to improve student reading outcomes.